Volkov, guys, where's his appreciation at? I feel as though maybe this is too little too late. Volkov, for me, popped on my radar. And I knew who he was. He was a long, lanky, he was a Russian kickboxer. Like, these are the things that were being said about him. This is way back early in his career, but he really popped on the radar when he came out to be a backup fighter. He comes through the curtain, doing weigh-ins 11-9. I'm hosting a show. I'm doing it with Errol Hawani. Volkov walks out. What is Volkov doing here? And we literally are both grabbing our notes and scrolling through them. And I don't generally even have notes because I haven't memorized. I'm a big fan. I'm completely prepared. That's what my daily life is. Where's Volkov? We're searching. Where's Volkov? Well, we find out something about this backup fighter for a heavyweight title fight. We find out we were told that he was given $10,000 to just come in and weigh in and do that. I can't tell you that that's true. I'm sharing the story and I'm sharing the moment with you. And it was a very long time ago. And we started seeing more and more guys put into a backup position. We even started to see where a little bit of a trend was going on policy-wise, that if you do a backup fight, whether you get it or you don't, you will then be given it. Consider yourself a #1 contender. All Colby Covington right now. Colby ends up being the backup fighter, flies across the pond. It's Leon versus Kamara. Leon comes out on top. Colby and Leon next. I'm just offering that for an example, because while Volkov never made it that far, it does seem as though this is a guy that's getting better and better. And I got really interested in him over the weekend when he put that choke on Tai Tuivasa. And if you ever fight Tai Tuivasa, you're going to know that you've been in a fight. He is a brawler. He's going to fight you everywhere. Not only is Tai a brawler, he's a brawler that's got pretty good lungs. And he doesn't really mind being hit. And he's going to come out and he's going to hit you. I mean, I think all of my points are proven by the fact that when Volkov did beat him, Volkov, who is a stand-up fighter, he's a kickboxer from Russia. This is how they build him from day one. Wins the fight on the ground in a full mount. I mean, right, when the trained striker doesn't want to be striking, I think we can give those compliments to Tai Tuivasa, that he's frightening on his feet, that he's got some power in his hands. I think that we would be right to give him that nod and show him that respect. So I start going down a rabbit hole of Volkov because I don't know a ton about him. I've seen him. I've seen his matches. I've seen him come up short. Like, I watched him fight Derek Lewis. I watched him fight Curtis Blaze, just for example. And I know that he can do the long fights. I've seen him in main event positions. But what I don't know, moreover, is I don't know who his coaches are. I don't know who his trainer is. I don't know what gym he's out of. So I set down a path and I want to go out and find those things. And I come to a page and oh gosh, he's training out in Vegas. And there's some places that you go if you want to see your career die. If you want to see it die slowly, there's places you can go if you want to elongate your career, if you want to get better. Like, there are places that have stigma and stereotypes that they have earned over history. And if you're a really good fighter and you go to Vegas, your clock just started ticking. This would be in depth that it would be difficult for me to explain. But I lived through this my entire life. And you want a guy to be confident, right? Coaches want to preach that. And for a guy to be confident, he's got to be a hard worker. He's got to outwork the competition. These are preached, but they're in direct conflict with one another. If you're ever running a team, it could be a high school team or a college team, don't do 2 workouts a day. If you do 2 workouts a day, don't tell your team they need confidence because they won't have any. The second workout has to be done on their own. If I see everybody else working out and I know what they're doing, there's no ability for me to be more confident. There's no ability for me to believe that I have those secret answers. I know something you don't. It can't be done because I know they're all doing it. How can I be the hardest worker in a room, which every coach tells you to do, when you're making the guys do the same thing? Oh, by the way, you're doing it twice a day. The second workout has got to be on his own. So he can feel, so he cannot see. He doesn't hear. He can feel as though he is paying a price. He is doing something more. He is showing a discipline. He is getting his own workouts together. It works this way all the time. If you get the greats and you put them together, there now is nothing great. If everybody's great, nobody's great. If everybody works hard, nobody worked hard. And I only bring this to you because wherever you're going in Vegas or whatever it is they do to get you out there, if you're with the same coaches and the same athletes that have the same dreams, nobody stands out. And you're much better, and history's on my side, to be in that foreign country in a guy's garage that people don't all know about. to have that little hole in the wall, that little dirty tennis court in the corner that's created 6 Wimbledon champions. And I don't know where Volkov plans to go. And I plan to support him and cheer for him. I mean, I do feel there's another guy, Ozdemir. I feel like Ozdemir at 205 pounds and Volkov at heavyweight are very much the same guy, which are 2 complete studs that haven't had the absolute smoothest of paths. They've had some roadblocks. They've stubbed their toe a few times. But I feel like those are the same guy that have shown a resiliency. They got meaningful places on the card. They got somebody sitting around going, no. No, his best days aren't done just yet. Where is his ceiling? We don't know. But his floor appears to be pretty high. Like, I really do think that Ozdemir deserves way more credit than he gets. And I think that about Volkov. But what are you going to do with Volkov? What are you going to do with a guy who's a co-main event on a pay-per-view, a very sought-after spot, and he won by finish? Which everybody says, you got to win, and you got to win by finish. Okay, he did all of those things, and he did it in a beautiful spot. Should I assume he's at minimum going to return to a co-main event spot? That's how this works. It's what the word promotion as opposed to demotion means. If he's in a co-main event spot and he wins, he stays or moves up. If he wins in a co-main spot and you pull him down, what was the point of doing the whole thing? So if we've got the Russian fighter who left Russia, trains in Vegas, I don't know who, and I searched for it, named Volkov, that's been around for a really long time. He's only lost to the top guys, who's a winner in the co-main event. We better get ready to see what's next for him, and I'll bet you it's going to be something pretty interesting. He lost to Tom Aspinall by straight armbar about a year ago. That's off the top of my head. I know Tom has sat out for a year, so I could have my dates wrong. But he's a top guy. And if he's changing up his training and he's showing a sacrifice, even if he picked the world's worst place, he didn't pick it because he knew that. He thought this was a great place to go. That's sacrifice. That's dedication. I haven't seen him get on top of somebody. I don't even know the name of that choke. Somebody said it was Ezekiel. Is that true? That may or may not be true. Ezekiel in Oregon, you go to Whole Foods, it's a kind of bread. Ezekiel in the octagon, you get on top. I mean, maybe. But if those pieces are all true, and you've got a Russian striker who's dedicated and realized he wasn't learning the right thing, so then he moves out to the death of a career to Las Vegas, and you have a Russian striker who's now finishing fights on the ground in a full mount with chokes that are so tricky that I can't even produce the name of it, I think those are good things. I think that's somebody that you need to have your eye open for. I think that's somebody that you need to start finding matches for. I think it should be reflected within the rankings. And I think if you have a guy named Volkov, who trains in Russia, under kickboxing, who moved to Vegas, who's a co-main eventer that won, I shouldn't have to call him Volkov. I should know if that's his first name or his last name. I should know his nickname. I should know more about him. I want to. I'm interested. But you got to meet me part way here, Volkov. You got to tell me a little bit about yourself. There's something within that piece that I just put out that isn't true. I want it to be, but there's something that I got wrong. Correct me. Have your people correct me. Show a pulse. Do something. I'll meet you part way. I went first. I put your name right up here in lights. It's your turn. Let's make it real simple. Is Volkov your first name or your last name?